Hello friends, Ben Ochart here, and welcome to another installment of Honest Product Reviews. One of the advantages of having a YouTube channel is that product manufacturers will send you from time to time products to review, to look at and try out, and then express what you think about them. Sometimes these products are great, and I end up incorporating them into my aquariums, and sometimes they're not so good, and in either case I let the manufacturer know that I'm going to say what I see, and I'm not going to censor my review in an effort to appease the manufacturer. Thus, it's called Honest Product Reviews. And today I have a very cool product that was sent to me, and let's go ahead and get right into it. Well, if you follow my channel, you know that for the last couple of years I've been using these XpertMatic internal filters. And they consist of 3 chambers, and inside the chambers there's a sponge. There's a plain sponge and a centerpiece that you can put things like carbon and biomedia inside of if you want. So that's available to you. You can use them as you can use all 3 of them, or you can just run it with 2, like the way I'm doing in the 55-gallon aquarium that I'm looking at right in front of me. And I like them. I've been overall happy with them. They do a great job. They pick up a tremendous amount of waste. When you clean out the sponges, it's amazing how much waste comes out of the sponges. A few things that I've been a little bit unhappy with have been the suction cups. The suction cups are usually very weak, and over time they will drop off the wall or change in position on the wall, and then you have to reach in there and get it straightened out again, push it back against the wall. So the suction cups have been a little bit of an issue. The other thing that's been an issue is this piece here, which after a while becomes a bit worthless, and in most cases I just remove it because even though I want it to be directing the flow upward so I can have surface tension breakup, ultimately it would lose its ability to stay in place, and it would just sort of flap around. And this is a piece that just comes off. But overall, the amount of push of water movement is very significant. I think this one was over 400 gallons per hour, and coming in at about 30 bucks or so, it's a pretty good deal. It's a very good deal. Probably the closest competitor out there would be something like this. This is the smallest of the Sicce Shark Pro units. It's very well built, and it's using magnets to attach, which is much better than suction cups. But you're going to pay, for something comparable to this, you're going to pay probably $70. So to get comparable filtration, you're going to get a better warranty, and you're going to get a better constructed unit, and you're going to get a unit that uses 1/3 or less of the wattage that is used by the XpertMatics. What difference will that make over time? I don't know. Maybe over 5 years you'll save enough to make up the difference in price. But you probably have to get the larger, the Shark Pro 900 to get comparable in water movement to an XpertMatic. Now, when I first got the XpertMatics 2 years ago, I contacted XpertMatic and I told them, I said, look, I like the unit, but with the black background that I use on my aquariums, it really stands out. And I don't want aquarium filters to be something that draws attention in my aquariums. I want the fish and first, and perhaps the decor second, to be the things that actually draw your eye. I don't want the filter to be something. But the white the white case for the filter can't help but stand out against the black background. So I suggested that they go with a black. I thought that black would be a lot better. The way Sicce has done with their Shark Pros, gone with black, I thought that would be a much better way of disguising or making the filter less prominent in the back of the tank. Now, keep in mind, because I'll get back to this later, each of these compartments have openings, slots in them. So keep that in mind as we go forward. This is the new improved AF2000 from XpertMatic. And it's, here's the box it came in. And aquarium, they're calling it an aquarium internal filter. Absorbs impurities and leaves water clear. Fits up to 180-gallon aquariums. Easy to disassemble and clean. I'd agree with all that. Not sure if I would use just one of them on 180. I'd probably use two of them, but that's just me. And it says it pushes over 500 gallons. It's pushing over 500 gallons an hour. And so that's a lot of water movement. And a couple immediate changes that I see. If the design is a much cleaner design. The suction cups have gone from 4 small suction cups to 3 in a triangular configuration, which I'm assuming is going to hold better to the wall because they're larger, and just because it's 3 of them, it's gonna do a better job. And they've also increased the size of the impeller. You can see here, easy access, very easy access to the impeller, which is key with any filter. You want to be able to access the impeller. Look at the size of this magnet. This is the same size as what I'd find in a Sunsun 704B canister filter, which is pushing water up from under the tank, up to the tank, and it's very, very powerful. So this impeller would then be working inside your aquarium and pushing that water around. So I love the fact that it's very easy access. Make sure you position it right where it needs to be. And there you go, locks in place very easily. And then here you have a plug for your Venturi. If you didn't want to use the Venturi hose that pulls air down so that you get air bubbles, if you didn't want to use that on the prior model, you had to pinch off the hose. And I would pinch it off, I'd trap it under under the lid, something like that, and that would stop the airflow. In this case, you can go ahead and just plug it. Just plug it using this, and no air will get in. Or you can opt to use the Venturi hose that they provide you with. Look at the length of this hose. This is at least twice as long as the hose they provided before. For some reason though, these hoses that come from China usually have these real hard to work out kinks, and I'm probably gonna end up using some of the hose that I picked up from the Aquarium Co-op, which is dark green and doesn't kink like this. I'll probably run some hot water over this first and see if that works the kinks out. But if you want to use the hose, that just connects onto the side here and then runs out the top, right? So you pull this little, see this cap? You pull this cap off of this side stem, this side plug here. You pull the cap off and you're left with this little connection, and your Venturi goes onto there. Very easy. Then this runs out the top of your aquarium. You can also adjust this portion of it to control some of the airflow. You see this cap here? You can adjust the airflow there as well. Open it and close it. And again, this is much more heavy duty than what used to be provided So I'm liking that a lot. Now they're coming in at a comparable price point to what they had before, in the 30s, mid 30s. And they've also taken this issue that I had with the flap. On the old one, that flap was so, it was just cheap. It was just a very kind of a thin, cheap flap. They've taken it and they've provided now this heavy duty flap that you can attach and then control, and it locks into place a lot more than the other one. Control the flow. Now we'll see how this works once I get it in the aquarium. Maybe it'll flop around just like the other one, but it seems a lot more heavy duty, certainly a lot larger than the one I had on the old XpertMatic. So we're going to test this out in one of the aquariums, and I'll show you how they resolve the issue of the white case standing out too much. The filter media is black, and they're providing you with a clear case, and the clear case has solved the problem. So now you have a 3 compartments, and remember I pointed out earlier those side opening, those slots are gone now. So what's happening is all of the detritus is being pulled in from the bottom. I kind of like and kind of don't like that, in that I know the other one was picking up particles at all levels on the aquarium, and sometimes these units, if it drops, it's just going to pick up sand. If it were to fall off the wall, it would just be sucking up sand. So I'm not sure yet. The verdict is still out as to whether I like the fact that it only pulls in from the bottom. But I will say this, in the other unit, the dirtiest unit always, the one with the most detritus, was always the unit at the very top that connects to the motor, that connects to the pump. So instead of having this one doing the bulk of the work and then becoming plugged up and requiring that you clean the entire unit, perhaps cycling the waste up this way is going to give you a more even distribution and use of waste across all 3 of these. Or maybe it's just going to plug up the bottom one, and at that point you'll have to go ahead and clean it out with essentially the same issue. So we'll see if I like the fact that it doesn't have the slots. A lot better feel, a lot harder plastic than what was used in the prior units, and when it's all together, you can see it looks like this. That's a pretty nice looking little unit, and compare this to the prior unit. About the same length and width. I think this one looks a lot better, and I think we're coming in at a real close price point to what was going on before, so I think we're in pretty good shape. Working on these things is so easy, right? You just open them up, pull the sponge out, give it a rinse, and away you go. Now, these don't have the middle compartment. It doesn't come with the middle compartment that the other ones came with. So I'm assuming what they think is, if you want to put a little bit of activated charcoal, you just pull out this middle section. Yeah. You just pull out that middle section and put your charcoal in there. Just dump it in there, or maybe inside of a little mesh bag. Drop a little bit of your pumice in there, or whatever it is that you want to use. And then when you're done, just go ahead and put that back in. So you're getting a solid sponge all the way through. So that's a different design choice on their part. Not sure why they did that, but I wasn't even using that middle section for charcoal. It came with some of the activated carbon. It came with it, but after about a month or so, you really should replace your carbon, because it becomes exhausted. And I've heard some people say that it might even start to return some of the waste back to the aquarium. So what I would do is I would just go ahead and just take the carbon out of that middle section and then replace it just to keep the structure of the sponge. But let's go ahead and test this in a 55-gallon aquarium I have behind me. And I'm going to rinse it, give it a real thorough rinse first. Always rinse any product that you're going to add to an aquarium. And then let's see how it runs. This is a 55-gallon tank. There's actually split into two sections. One section is for some silver dollars and in quarantine. Another section is for the rehabilitation of this Autopharynx tetrastigma. In this tank, what I have currently is an old Shark Pro from Sicce, and as you can see, it's a very effective, it's a very good filter, but it definitely stands out and is a bit of what I would refer to as one of those eyesore type filters that really stands out too much for my taste, and ends up being a bit of a focal point within the aquarium. So let's go ahead and pull that filter out and replace it with the new XpertMatic and compare both the look and the performance. This Shark Pro is pumping out a lot of water. It does a good job. It does have, unfortunately, terrible suction cups, and it tends to change position a lot, which is why I think Sicce has gone to magnets with its newer models, its Shark Pro, its new Shark Pro models. So let me unplug and remove this one, and we'll drop the XpertMatic in, and let's see what I think. If you're wondering about the loss of beneficial bacteria that will occur by removing this filter, don't worry about it too much, because this is a very established tank, and it also has a large Marineland Emperor 400 running on it. So there's, between that and the deep substrate, there is plenty beneficial bacteria in this aquarium, so nothing to worry about. Now, one thing I will admit about the Sicce is they give you a much longer cord to go with your filter, and I wish they would do that with these XpertMatics, give you a much longer cord. Yeah, this cord is probably, doing a side-by-side comparison, it's probably half as long as the cord you get with a Sicce, and so that really kind of limits what you can do. As you can see, the unit is significantly bigger than the Shark, but I love the look of it. Really love the look of it. Let's fire it up. All right, so it's pumping, and if you turn this up a little bit, you'll get a lot of surface tension breakup, which is something I really like for oxygen purposes. There we go. Oh man, that's gonna dump water out onto the floor. It's pretty strong, very, very strong. So let's tone that down a little bit. I don't necessarily need that much. Now, let's say I want to go ahead and use the aeration function. Let's attach the Venturi that came with it. You're going to see a explosion of bubbles here, which I may or may not want to have. We'll see. Yeah, that creates a tremendous amount of bubbles. And again, if you can point it to the top, it's not quite as bad. So if you want a lot of oxygen, it's definitely a good filter. Good filter for that. It's cobalt heaters, they have the same suction cup problem. There you go. Now you can adjust down the amount of airflow by turning the end of the Venturi. As you can see, I'm shutting it down there and opening up all the way. That's full blast. My, oh my. Look at that, can't even, the flap can't even take the full blast. If you want the full blast going up. Okay, looks like it's locked into place there. That's not bad. I'm gonna turn that down because that's way more than I want. Too many micro bubbles. Really changes the look of the tank. Yeah, I'm not too crazy about the micro bubbles, so I think what I'll do is I will use this filter without the Venturi. The way I was using the Shark. Just take the Venturi out. Put the stopper back on. And plug it in. Plug it. It's like putting a cork stopper. There we go. Yeah, I like that more. I like the not having so many micro bubbles flying around. And this seems to be holding fine on pointing the flow upward, and that way it's not going to blow the fish around. Move it more this way. All right, that's better. Yeah, I like it. I like the look of it. And we'll see how efficient it is in keeping this section of the tank clean. Doesn't seem to be disturbing the fish at all. He's been living in the tank for a little while now, recovering from a bad eye, his right eye. So he's keeping his good eye pointed towards us, but I'm pretty sure he lost that right eye. So there you have it. If you like the old design more than the new design, you can still pick that one up for $29.99. It's their 25 watt model. If you like this new design more with the clear case, it comes in at $34.99, $34.99, and I'll include a link under the video. XpertMatic 35 watt upgraded 3-stage internal filter, 528 gallons per hour. And it looks like the older version with the white encasement was 475 gallons per hour. So this one is an upgraded pump or motor, which makes sense because definitely the impeller is larger, the magnet is larger, and also the unit is heavier. It's heavier. So it's using more wattage, roughly about 10 more watts. And it's good for fresh water and salt water. And let's see if there's anything else in here that you should know. Recommended for up to 180 gallons. Like I said, I'd probably use 2 of them in a 180 gallon application. Provides a lot of oxygen, water movement, we know that. And you can see all of this at the Amazon webpage, and I'll go ahead and include the link. Totally quiet. It is totally quiet. I can't hear it running at all. So it's completely silent. And you can use it in a variety of applications, from using only 1 stage to all 3 stages. So you can go 1 stage, 2 stage, or a 3-stage filter. And you can use the compartments for media, or use just the middle of the sponge compartment for media, or you can use an entire compartment for media. That's really up to you. The fact that it's pulling from the bottom now, pulling upward from the bottom, I would say makes it a little bit better for using it for media. So you could use, let's say at the very top, you could put some bio rings, something like that. Me personally, I like sponges all the way through. I think sponge is a great biomedia. But if you want to use something like rings or pumice, something like that, you can break up some lava rock and use that top compartment exclusively for media, and that way the water is going to get pretty filtered and cleaned up, so relatively clean water is going to run over your media and feed your beneficial bacteria. So that's my review. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars. That's a very high rating. Maybe 4.5. I'm going to give it 4, and I'll tell you why. I want to wait and see after my first cleaning, and I'll do a follow-up video, how those sponges look after they've run for a while, and see if pulling up from the bottom is really utilizing all 3 sponges effectively. And XpertMatic, put some magnets on it. Get rid of those suction cups. Put some magnets on it. These might be better suction cups. They're larger. The configuration, where they're placed is different. So this may work better, but go to magnets. And I know that might take us up to about $40 in price. I think it'd be worth it. So otherwise, there you go. 4 stars, and wait for a follow-up video on the first cleaning, and we'll see where we go from there. Thank you for tuning in. Check the link below for more information. And that's it for me. We'll talk about filtration, fish, and all the tanks I have in here. We'll talk about all that on Saturday during the Cichlids and Coffee live stream. That's Saturdays at 11 a.m. Central. That's noon Eastern or 9 a.m. Pacific. Great group of fish keepers. If you'd like to support the channel, be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe, hit that notification bell. Let YouTube know something good's going on. We're almost at 50,000 subscribers. And if you'd like to support the channel further, consider becoming a member of the Garage Gang. Support the channel on a monthly basis for as little as $3 a month. The Garage Gang really helps to keep these videos coming, and with all the other costs and things associated with having a YouTube channel. Thank you, my friends. Hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.